Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for a Chelsea news video. Today we've got 4 stories to talk about. We're going to be talking Harvey Vale, we're going to be talking Virgil Van Dijk and some of the things that he's been saying about Chelsea players. We're also going to be talking about Sergino Dest from Barcelona, the US men's national team fullback, and we're also discussing Ousmane Dembele, who, I couldn't believe this when I read this, but apparently he's been at Barcelona now for 4 flipping years. Who'd have thought it? He scored a goal against Chelsea, which we'd all remember. I was there in the Nou Camp. It was a great goal. We had a blinder that game alongside Messi. But Dembele is going to be available in the summer for free, which is madness considering how much Barcelona spent on the player from Borussia Dortmund when he was simply 17 years old. Before we get into anything, I do want to ask you to subscribe to the George Benson football channel, and I want to let you guys know about Ultimate Fan. It is my season-long partner here on GBFC. You guys know I don't do brand deals very often, but this one is excellent. It's a cross between Fantasy Premier League and also FIFA pack openings. I used to love opening a good old FIFA pack back in the day. This week, again, I don't know what it is, but I've basically almost got the entire Liverpool squad in my team. And considering Chelsea Football Club are top of the table, I don't want to make too many adjustments to my team, if I can get my words out, until some Chelsea players start coming through. So the safest option is to stick with Man City players and Liverpool players for my team. Last week, it didn't go so well. Only managed 22 points, wasn't in the money. There's £5,000 to be won every single week. Go and sign up, link is in the description. It's free to play. You can also buy silver and gold subscriptions if you want better players to be able to have a better chance of winning more cash. But without any further ado, let's begin this Chelsea news video by talking about a man who I always speak about in pre-season, because I get this sentimental excitement when it comes to Charly Musonda. Charly Musonda has confirmed that he will be leaving Chelsea in 2022. Next summer, he is going to be available as a free agent. Chelsea will not be offering him a new contract. He's one of those players who has just been plagued by so many injuries throughout his career, and it's incredibly unfortunate. The Belgian is a very, very talented player, but the growth that we thought we were going to see with Charly Musonda has been stunted so much as a result of those injuries that now when you look at the Chelsea squad, you look at players we're linked with, we're linked with bringing Eden Hazard back to the club, and even the ankles that Eden Hazard has now, when you're talking about that kind of player, Charly Musonda knows that his time at Chelsea is not going to come. He's going to continue training at Chelsea, at Cobham, until next summer, and then he will be leaving as a free agent. Unless something dramatic or drastic happens and Chelsea do offer him a new deal, Charly Musonda, wish him all of the very, very best. The next story that I want to discuss today is Ousmane Dembele, that man from Barcelona who signed from Dortmund when he was 17 years old. We got to remember that he played under Thomas Tuchel at Borussia Dortmund, which is why this conversation about Chelsea reportedly being interested in the player is very interesting indeed. I believe that Barcelona in the summer would have tried to sell Dembele, knowing damn well that he's probably not going to sign a new deal, even if they offer him one, and he's going to be leaving for free in the summer. When we think about Barcelona, the turmoil that this club is in right now, yes, they beat Dynamo Kiev on Tuesday night, but that doesn't cover over many cracks at all with the situation at Barcelona. They're mid-table in La Liga, they've sacked the club legend Ronald Koeman, and they're going to bring in Xavi, who's only managed one side in Qatar for his whole managerial career. Yes, it might reinvigorate the ambition and the belief at Barcelona as a club, but when you spend 100-odd million euros on Ousmane Dembele, and he's still only 21 years old, and you think about it and you're like, is this kid ever going to get a chance? I think he scored something like 30 goals in 118 Barcelona appearances, which really isn't the best statistics, but when you think about how dominant Barcelona have been over the years, that should be a lot higher for a player playing in a forward position like he is. However, we remember back to his time at Borussia Dortmund, and he was some serious talent. Now, Chelsea are one of the clubs interested alongside Liverpool, which would make sense, and also Manchester City, which to me, that doesn't add up whatsoever. They've already got Bernardo Silva, they've got Riyad Mahrez, they've got Jack Grealish, but that's just me looking at that thinking, yeah, City, Dembele, that could also work quite well. He's a Pep Guardiola kind of player, you could say, but Taking a little look at the text that we're going to put on the screen now, Dembele has largely underwhelmed since making a big money move from Dortmund back in 2017. A combination of injuries and off-field problems have had a clear negative effect on his performance. Now, talking about off-the-field stuff, whatever is happening in a footballer's career, yes, it is their duty as a footballer to try and separate what happens off the pitch to what happens on the pitch. Not to say that footballers are robots and they do not get affected or will not get affected by things that are going on off the pitch. Now, the reason I think that Dembele would be a very, very good player for Chelsea to sign is because when you've got that kind of player where things off the pitch are not going so well, when you've got a dressing room like we have, and when you have a team that are building, have won the Champions League this season, challenging on every single front, sometimes it is just that little bit of mindset change and mentality shift within a player. For someone like Dembele, it could simply be a move to a much more positive, forward-thinking dressing room that could get him to be firing on all cylinders again. Now, that could also happen at Liverpool. It could also happen at Man City. And I think anybody who would sign Ousmane Dembele as a free signing would be getting a very decent player. He's still very young. Yes, injuries have been a problem, but when we look at other players we're linked with, Hazard, injuries problem. Christian Pulisic has spent nearly a whole year, in terms of the amount of days injured at Chelsea, injured. The issue is Callum Hudson-Odoi. He's finally breaking through. Christian Pulisic, we know he's a world-class player. Deep down, he's just got to stay fit. The question would be, would Ousmane Dembele come in at the detriment of one of these two leaving the club? That is where I sit on this, and I think maybe, even if it is a free signing, this might not be the best idea. If it is free, you can't really turn your nose up at it. And if Chelsea wanted him, Thomas Tuchel's worked with him before and he says, yes, I want to sign Dembele, I want him in my squad. I'm not going to bat an eyelid. I'm not going to have any issues with it whatsoever. But I do say, Callum Hudson-Odoi, watch this space with him. He's definitely coming into his own. And Christian Pulisic, if, I pray, he can stay fit, then I think he's also going to become a better player than Ousmane Dembele. But we move into the next story of the day, and it is from Virgil Van Dijk. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to sit here and say to you, I think Chelsea will sign Van Dijk. We want a centre-back. I think we should go for Van Dijk. That would be punditry of the lowest level. Virgil van Dijk is probably the best player at Liverpool, if not Mo Salah. I know what you're thinking. You're about to hit the dislike button or click off the video. Virgil van Dijk is a wonderful defender. However, he believes that Thiago Silva and Toni Rudiger are the two best defenders in the world. Now, when it comes from Virgil van Dijk, it makes me feel like less of an idiot when I sit here and say to you guys, Rudiger is arguably the best defender in Europe right now. When you think about European football, we know that it is the highest quality football in the world. Any other continent you go to, it isn't quite up to the standards. Now, if Virgil van Dijk, who many regard, when he's fit and on song, as the best defender in the world, if he says it, then I'm going to flip and sit here and absolutely milk this one dry until the cows come home. Virgil van Dijk has said that Rudiger and Thiago Silva are the best defenders in the world. And that is good enough for me to just sit here for a minute and take your time to remind you just how lucky we are to have both of these incredible players at the club. What incredibly high prestige to be held in by somebody such as Virgil van Dijk. The next piece of news is regarding Chelsea heading in a positive direction with talks for Harvey Vale. Now, Harvey Vale is an 18-year-old attacking midfielder. So far this season, he's got himself 2 assists, 4 goals in 9 appearances in the Chelsea under-23s. Think about it, under-23s, he's 18 years old. Chelsea in the summer, there was not, I wouldn't say an exodus of young players that left the club, but there were a few young players who a lot of people were like, blimey, how have we let this guy go? You know, and you look at Tino Livramento and his form at Southampton and you think, wow, what a bargain. Hallelujah that we've managed to get ourselves a buyback clause for this geezer. Chelsea don't want to see the same thing happening with Harvey Vale. He was in the squad for the match against Malmo on Tuesday night. Didn't manage to come on. There was a lot of talk that if Chelsea would have wrapped up the game early, then Thomas Tuchel would have brought him on. However, I don't really think Thomas Tuchel is a man for sentiment. I think we would have continued to try and score more goals against Malmo, which we should have done. Let's be real. You know, 1-0 isn't the most overwhelming scoreline. It's very underwhelming, and Chelsea, yes, it's the head-to-head against Juventus that will see us either win the group or not win the group. But if we beat them 1-0, then goal difference is the next port of call, and we didn't do ourselves many favours. Harvey Vale didn't get on the pitch, but Chelsea are working to secure a new contract for Harvey Vale. And it's a big balancing act at the moment for us because, yes, we've got a plethora of amazing youngsters at the club who we've seen break into the first team, make places their own, and dominate for Chelsea Football Club. You know, Mason Mount, Reece James, even Andreas Christensen now. Yes, he was playing in the academy from a young age. There is so many talented players in this Chelsea squad who have come through the academy. And for Chelsea to continue to be developing as a club in the way that we are, still challenging for trophies, we need to make sure that even though not everybody from the academy is going to make it, we've got to secure contracts for the real promising ones. And I think if Harvey Vale can make it into a matchday squad on a Champions League night, whether he features or not, Chelsea have got to get this one over the line. And I hope that we do soon. Now, the final story of the day is regarding a report that Chelsea are interested in signing Barcelona and US men's national team star Sergino Dest. Now, we know back in the summer, Chelsea were trying to sign Achraf Hakimi. He ended up going to Paris Saint-Germain. Enjoy that, mate. They're a bunch of arseholes. You see them last night against Leipzig? Cannot stand that side any longer. I didn't really like them too much in the first place, but PSG, it was horrible. They signed Hakimi. Chelsea didn't get him, but look at Reece James this season. He's showing that he's one of the best wing-backs in the world. Virgil, you want to come and say it again so that I can just throw that one out there, even though I want to? But I'm not going to say it because everyone's just going to be like, you're deluded, mate. Anyway, Sergino Dest from Barcelona. There's a very simple thing that I want to make clear here. Reece James is the number one wing-back at this club, and he's going to be the number one wing-back at this club as long as we're playing with wing-backs, and even then, he's going to be the best full-back in the right-back position at this club. No question whatsoever. If Chelsea want to sign Sergino Dest, and Dest wants to leave Barcelona, I think if I was any Barcelona player right now, I think they all want to leave, but it's definitely coming in to be a backup for Reece James. Cesar Azpilicueta, he's getting on. Yeah, he didn't look so good on Tuesday night. I'm not going to write him off as a result of that. Azpi's a phenomenal player. He's had a great start to the season. But Sergino Dest is young, he's talented, but he would certainly be a backup. And again, the more that Chelsea are looking to develop, the more we're trying to grow this squad. I love it when we're linked with players like this because it shows that we have the ambition to create the kind of squad that Pep Guardiola has at Manchester City, which is depth in every single position, so that if somebody's injured, somebody just as good or maybe just a little less can come in and fill the void. But anyway, going to wrap up this Chelsea news video for you guys here today. 4 big stories. Let me know what you thought of all of them in the comments down below. Hit the like button if you did enjoy this video. Subscribe if you are new. And as I said at the beginning of the video, if you haven't yet downloaded Ultimate Fan, get involved. Link is in the description. It's free to play. If you want to get better players, you can buy the silver and gold pack subscriptions. It's a lot of fun. There's 5k to be won every single week. And yeah, tweet me a picture of your teams. Let me know how you're getting on. Best of luck for the weekend. And I'll see you guys tomorrow with a brand new Chelsea video. See you all later. Come on, you Blues.